Well, good afternoon there. Yep, it's Thursday, September 5th. Oh, heck. I thought I'd give you a little teaser, a short teaser of what I'm putting up here tonight. I've got one that I put together. It's about 45 minutes long. And I'm not going to post it till, somewhere between 6 and 7 tonight. That way to give you a little time if you've got, if you're bored of what you're doing, you can listen to it. I tell you a story about how I got to my thoughts about helping the underdog, or instead of attacking somebody that did me wrong, I tried to pull them up by their bootstraps, get them going again, and how I ended up with probably one of my best friends that actually was somebody that I didn't care for at all when I met him. But it's partially due to my Christian beliefs that it happened. I don't know if it would have happened if I wasn't involved in a church at the time. But it's just one of those things that affected me my entire life. And to this day it still does. I've helped people where it didn't work out well for them or me. There's times where you help people and it's not appreciated afterwards, and it just didn't. Let's put it that way. This last one, a little over a year ago, a year and a half, it cost me a bundle of money. It's something I could have chased them down and got if I would have wanted to. But by the time I would have got reimbursed, I would have been long time planted. It takes years to get back that much money, and quite frankly, it wouldn't be worth the effort, because it would make me feel bad and it would make them feel worse. They don't have you can't get blood out of a rock. All you can do is make life extremely miserable for somebody like that, and that's not why I'm here. Absolutely not. So, why did I tell a story like that? I wanted you to see what happens when you change from being a bully into changing into somebody that Christ would expect you to be. It's just a little story. And a little bit of a gripe section, portion out there too. I guess a lot of it is to see if it's something that will help you. It may or may not. It may be boring. But the story is true. I ended up with a good friend out of it, and it could have been the other way around. It could have been my worst enemy. Okay, well, let's get back. I watched a show called Midtownsbest. Dave, Super Dave. That was a great job out there. Shout out to you. I'm always interested in what you're putting on the tube out there, and of course I enjoy it. Shout out to two Lees in a pad. Yes, two Lees with an L. I made a mistake the other day and I said 2 peas in a pod. I don't know why I did that. I guess when I was a kid, we used to shell peas, and I always think of peas being in a pod. And 2 Lees in a pod I never thought about. My grandmother, she would probably skin me for making a mistake like that. But it was truly a mistake. Lisa, don't roast me for it, please. 2 Lees in a pod. Go out there and watch them. It's a good show. They bring documentation. They bring truth of what they say. Truth. Documentation. Side by side. Is it unreal? It's as real as can be, I'm telling you. So get in there and give them a listen, will you? I can remember a time when you could trust people and a handshake was like a contract. And what you said was your word was as good as gold. And nothing could be further from the truth anymore. It's such a changed world. And you have to learn how to roll with the punch now. let the water run off your back like it does on a duck. You know, just don't worry so much about it. Just get in there and give it your best shot. So that's what we're doing today. Now we know that poor little gal down there in that town, her protection order apparently was thrown out, and I understand that. I mean, this thing should have been settled a long time ago. This stuff shouldn't have went on. Some of the stuff that's going on, I think, is still criminal. But that's just my opinion. I mean, what the heck? But the judge looked at it and said, get rid of it. So that's the law, and that's the way it's going to be. Now, on the other hand, the other one has a protection order, and just like when one of them was out on the road with a walker, and this guy drives up alongside and said, hey, you get off 10 feet away from me, protection order, and he's filming the whole thing. And the guy with the walker gave him a little grief and finally got off to the side, off on his property, because his property comes up to the road. Okay. Not that that's the greatest place to be, but you know, that's the way it is. Small town. There's only so many places you can go. And this other guy has property right across the street, and he also has some cameras. I don't know where they're directed, but when I see them, they look like they were directed at that property. So if they're coming and going, they probably know about it. So you can imagine what they're going to go through now, because the protection order will not allow them to be on the road out there at the same time the other person is. They have to get off the road. They can't go in the post office at the same time. They can't be in the grocery store at the same time. They can't be in a restaurant. If they're sitting down to supper and these two walk in, they have to get up and leave immediately. And they know that because they've been turned in several times, and they've been found guilty of the protection order, I think at least twice now. As unfair as that seems, it was working both ways, actually, to a certain extent. You can't, neither one of you can, and it's none of this deal about first one there wins the game. That's not the way it is. Only one has the right. The other one has no rights. So this person is going to go through literally the wrong side of heaven. That's for sure. Their acre and a half is no longer their utopia. And I know people are going to say, well, that was the wrong word for that place. And it may very well be. A lot of the yards down there, including that one, do have a lot of things around it that you might not see in a bigger city, because the ordinances would make you keep them spotless and a certain length for weeds and grass. Now, I don't know what all exists there, you know, what the law says or anything else. It's their property. It'd be nice to think they can do what they want with it, but you have to think of the neighbors too. You can't have something there that could be an encroachment against their property, say having wild animals or a haven for things that might come from your property into their property and attack them, things like that. It could even be having a place where you end up with 1,000 copperheads because of the amount of debris you had around there, and they'd be spreading all out to your neighbors. Well, believe me, the law would do something about that eventually. So anyway, let's get past that. One of the things I was going to talk about in that video, I think, was about an assault that was committed against the clerk. And I was trying to put it in simple terms, and it's on this next video come out. Like I say, it's too long to just put up there unless somebody's interested in listening to that stuff. I talked a little bit about these protection orders, if they're fair or unfair. How fair can you be if the distribution of the law is different? If you have one person that doesn't have the intelligence of the other, that filling out a simple thing like forms can be not a hazard, but maybe a hazard because of the way it was filled out. there's a certain amount of, name calling, saying incompetencies, stuff like this. And being incompetent at filling out a form doesn't necessarily be a bad thing about the person. It just means that they don't have what it takes to fill it out correctly. They need assistance on it. And they probably could get a clerk to do it or help them out with it. I don't know. I really don't know how the system works down there. But there's usually good people that will help you if you need it. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Now down there, I think people are going to be scared to go on that property simply because anybody that goes near there is going to get scrutinized and looked up, and family backgrounds get aired on air. Not necessarily a fair thing, but most of it probably is legal until it hits a certain point, and then it can be considered harassment if you have the money to follow through and a lawyer that's willing to put the time in to do it. And we're talking could cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to pursue that avenue. So people like to play the bluff game. Not fair, is it? Like I say, the justice system is supposed to be fair, and it's supposed to be applied evenly, and it is not. Okay, it's because you're bringing two unequal people to the court system and making them both obey to the same set of laws, even though one can't, either through lack of intelligence of the subject, okay, or lack of funding so that they can pursue justice. Okay. And yes, the law can be very unfair, and there are people out there that take advantage of that, and I think sometimes it's happening, especially in some of the instances there. And there's a lot of people who say that, well, Ray, you're on the wrong side, and you were on the right side. Well, yes. I was on the side that you consider right, and now I'm on the side of the one that's supposed to be wrong. What I'm trying to do is equalize the field a little bit so that both of them have a fair chance. I don't wish injustice on either party. I don't. I think that we ought to be able to follow the laws, and they should be just in the way they're administered. And they're not being just in the way they're administered simply because one has neither the funds or what it takes mentally to fill out a simple thing like a form to even start a charge. And understanding what everything there is and not filling them in correctly and not making them, everything is in presentation. Okay, when you present something to a court, it has to be very legible and neat. You can't just throw a piece of paper together. You can't do that. It looks bad for you, and you put the wrong taste in the judge's mouth or whoever's filling out the rest of the paperwork it takes. Then you can't cry wolf time after time after time. And when a person does something, they need to do it in a manner that is justified. I know paranoia to a certain extent is involved here. It's unfortunate. When you put people under a magnifying glass, immediately it causes paranoia in the people. And that is what's happening in that little town or village or whatever you want to call it. It's certainly filled with people of all walks of life, and they were all doing fine before everybody else got in there and kind of mixed up a witch's brew, if you will. So, a little bit of it is about that doggone people want to attack me if they're on another channel. You gotta be ashamed of yourself. Oh, gee. I'm not here to make enemies or make fools out of anybody or talk down to them or anything else. Like I say, fair is fair, and not, when you act like a child, don't expect me to treat you like an adult. Oh, goodness sake. Well, with that, I'm going to let this go. Come on and watch my channel tonight sometime between 6 and 7. I'll post it. I think 2 Lees in a pod are going to be on there tonight. Usually they post about 9 o'clock on Thursday, so let's hope that they're there. I like listening to them. And the reason is because they bring documentation. They don't just come out and say, hey, this happened. And they'll listen to both sides of the story, by the way. Yeah. That's got to be a breath of fresh air. How many other channels are going to listen to both sides? How many of them will take criticism? Huh? Let me tell you that. Not many. Midtownsbest. Hey, he was on there today. Super Dave. Yes, sir, he did a good job. And plenty of interaction on his channel, and he's growing. Yes, he's getting better. You're going to like listening to him, yes. All those are positive things, aren't they? He's just a young guy, kicking butt. Yeah, he's going to be a good interviewer. Look forward to being on there again one of these days. Maybe we can mix it up with more than just one person. Mix it on with a couple. That way it gets lively, and it gets a lot more people to look and see what's going on, right? Yeah, that'd be fun. Even if somebody with opposing views came on, that would not be so bad either. As long as we could have a conversation without picking and being nasty. Be on there like picking a banjo. Let's see, what else? So, Psychobab will rap. Yes, sir, he's out there doing a good job on his channel. Give him a shout out. You're going to like his channel. He's tells it like it is. Yes, sir. Keep that in mind. Tell it like it is. Because he certainly will. And he knows the people involved with this, at least on that one side, it goes back a long ways. This guy's no dummy. He's pretty sharp. So go ahead and look at him there. He'll do it. Shout out to Darwin out there. I know that you talk a little slower than me even, and I talk pretty slow. But you get your point across. And I know you don't have a bunch of followers, but hopefully somebody will pick up on your channel and give it a lift. And let's hope they don't mind to just kind of kick back a little bit and relax while he's talking. Because like I say, he slows it down a little bit, but he's got good thoughts for you. Who else out there? We got so many people out there. They're doing such a good job. Slug is starting a new different way of running his channel out there. And I haven't been able to see exactly what's going on, but I'm going to be on his channel, pick on him a little bit, maybe here and there. He don't mind being picked on as long as you're not going to bite him too bad. And I wouldn't be able to keep up with him anyway. He's more, what do you call it, literate as far as the tech goes. And he can talk faster, and he is very intelligent. So hopefully his new wave of going on his channel works fine. I wish you all the best out there, Slug. I've enjoyed being back and forth with you, and yeah, I know I give you a bad time over some of your language, but you know, on your channel you can do about anything you want, and you've respected mine, and I really appreciate it, fella. There's been so many people came on here and didn't respect my channel like you did, and that says a lot. Okay, so good luck to you. Who else we got out there? You know who I like to listen to Gator out there. He's a former friend of Mr. Jeremy. They go back a ways, and he's a pretty good authority, and he's very fair. And he don't get out there and harangue on any one person, and he will tell you straight up whatever the relationship was at the time or how people have acted. So nothing wrong with that. I'd say he's fair and square, and refreshing to have somebody like that that's willing to get out on a channel and talk about it. Bruce, he's usually on there. He's a lawyer. Looks like he'll be representing Miss Preston in that federal case, because I just seen the documentation on it today. Yes, sir. The guy that they said didn't have a license to be a lawyer anymore or something, I lost his license. He's actually licensed in 2 states, Connecticut and Massachusetts. So, yeah, good luck with that. Bruce, a shout out to you. And if you're on the channel tonight, I'll be able to shout at you in the super chatters chat out there for sure. So, and then we got, I think it's a cousin of Lisa that will be on, is on that show now. She's back. So, she's the gal with the leather hat, I think. You know something, I haven't been on that channel long enough to know everybody, but I'm trying to be there long enough. So, anyway, it's a good time. You've got all kinds of different looks at, and they pick a subject and they go at it, and then they pick people off in the chat, answer the questions, and actually they ask questions and have people participate back as well. So with that, I'm going to let this go. Let's keep it as short as I can. The one that's later tonight is a long one. You may get bored. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what changed my personality back in my late 20s and early 30s, and how I got to be a little more softer, if you will. Certain things upset me, and I'm not a guy that turns my cheek, I'll tell you that right now. But I'll go out of my way to do the best I can for a person. I just have a different way of doing things a lot of times than other people, because doing it the right way is the only way. So keep in mind, I've always said there's a difference between the 10 Commandments and man's law, and sometimes it's hard to walk that line between them or with both of them. So my choice, obviously, is going to be the 10 Commandments, if at all possible. Thank you for listening, and come on back for more words, maybe of wisdom, or something you can argue with or agree with. There's something there for everybody.